Tonight, downright deceptive. Coles given an almighty slap for their down sales, which the consumer watchdog says were simply misleading. Has the coalition stolen Pauline Hanson's ideas? Conservative politics thrown into chaos just hours out from Angus Taylor's big budget reply speech. The isolation plane is now boarding. 4 Aussies from the virus-hit cruise ship due to take off from the Netherlands within the hour. When are they expected to land down under? The changing face of organised crime in Sydney's west. One top cop's stark warning as young women allegedly take contracts to kill. Plus, the Wizarding World comes to the city's west. We take you inside the largest Harry Potter exhibition of its kind, just opened at Olympic Park. And the magic continues in Brisbane. Fan favourite Latrell Mitchell running freely, proving he'll be more than ready for the Blues.
This is 10 News Sydney with Sandra Sully.
Good evening. Supermarket giant Coles has been found to have misled shoppers during its Down discount campaign in a landmark ruling in the federal court. Competition experts say that the judgment could have huge ramifications for the industry, with Woolworths facing a similar case by the ACCC.
A supermarket giant and a catchy tune. Down, down. But the consumer watchdog didn't buy it.
Common sense won.
In a landmark ruling, a federal court judge found Coles had broken consumer law by misleading customers on down discount prices between 2022 and 2023. The ACCC alleged Coles artificially jacked up the price of some 245 products, then reduced them under the promotion, leaving shoppers with the impression they were genuine discounts, when they were actually paying the same amount or more than weeks or sometimes just days prior.
There is a consumer harm and a competition harm that the ACCC is concerned about.
The judge found that 13 of the 14 sample products submitted to the court did not have a genuine discount. The initial price of a 900-gram tin of CarryCare baby formula was $18. Coles increased the price to $24 for just 23 days. Before, it was reduced to $21 with down branding. A similar story for the Shapes multi-pack. Starting at $5, it jumped to $6.50. But only 6 days later, it was down to $5.50.
This behaviour affected millions of Australians. There are 15 million people that go through supermarkets every week.
Coles argued they were genuine specials after supplier costs rose. Justice O'Brien agreed that Coles increased prices in a commercially justifiable manner, but found that Coles did not sell the items at the higher price for a reasonable period of time, at least 12 weeks, before dropping the price.
And that seems to me to be anti-consumer, because it locks consumers into higher prices for a longer period of time than might be necessary. And it's also inflationary.
Justice O'Brien is yet to hand down what could be a substantial penalty for the supermarket giant, with both parties to return to court following consultation next month.
We will certainly make strong submissions on the level of penalty.
I guess penalties will be in the hundreds of millions.
The same judge is presiding over a separate case between the ACCC and Woolworths.
Woolworths, in my view, is a goner. The case against them almost the same.
Coles' share price was down 3% by lunch, but recovered to almost $21 by the end of trade. The company says it is reviewing the judgment.
If I was in Coles's legal counsel state, I would probably say yes, I'd appeal it.
Sam Mills, 10 News.
Angus Taylor will deliver his budget reply speech in the coming hours with a promised crackdown on migration, targeting both welfare and housing. But the federal opposition leader has been ridiculed by One Nation's Pauline Hanson, who has accused him of copying her policies.
This is Angus Taylor's turn in the spotlight.
If you commit to this country, we'll commit to you.
But Pauline Hanson's lurking in the shadows, accusing the coalition of copying One Nation's homework.
Oh, I don't think I know he is.
The opposition leader will tonight reveal a plan to ease the housing crisis by limiting Australia's migration intake to one person per new home build.
Don't let more people in than you have houses to support. I would have thought that's common sense.
Australia's net overseas migration was 306,000 people last financial year. In that time, just under 175,000 new homes were built. The average number of persons per dwelling is 2.6.
It's become not just an issue of affordability, which is a concern too, it's become an issue of availability.
We will need to attract more tradies in order to build the extra houses that we want.
Pledging $5 billion for housing infrastructure and to scrap Labor's housing programs.
Ours is a plan to strengthen the economy. His is a ploy to stave off one nation.
I'll congratulate myself because I've got decent policies.
If elected, the coalition would also require migrants to become citizens before they can access welfare support and the NDIS.
If you are not an Australian citizen, then you don't get the privileges of an Australian citizen.
That's usually a 4-year wait for permanent residents. Healthcare would be an exception and current support grandfathered.
We don't have an unlimited bucket list for permanent residency visa holders. They shouldn't be able to.
There is an element of competing with Pauline, and in many ways they're trying to out Pauline.
The coalition's trying to win back voters who are moving further to the right, while the federal government's trying to win back trust after breaking an election promise on investor tax breaks.
When did the Prime Minister decide that the truth doesn't matter?
The member for Hume promised that they'd be better off if they made him leader.
Let's bring in our senior political correspondent, Chloe Burris, in Canberra now. Good evening, Chloe. You've just received some new details of what the opposition leader might say tonight. Do tell.
Well, Sandra, Angus Taylor will make a bold promise to end bracket creep for good. Tonight, he'll unveil a plan to automatically index income tax brackets to keep up with inflation, claiming the typical taxpayer would get back $250 in the first year, $1,000 by year 4 and more if inflation's higher. This will certainly be an expensive plan and one that sets up a major tax fight. Having taken on the Liberal leadership about 3 months ago, this is a significant moment for Angus Taylor to introduce himself properly to the public and outline policy which the coalition had been severely lacking.
All right, Chloe Burris in Canberra. We'll know soon enough. Thank you. Police say they have noticed an unusual change in Sydney's organised crime wars. The networks are broadening, with more young women now getting tangled up as crims for hire.
An early morning wake-up.
Open the door!
Police busting into this Wayland home before dawn, dragging out Rebecca Hansel, arresting her in her dressing gown in relation to an organised crime murder plot and a string of shootings, as Task Force Falcon attempts to untangle Sydney's underworld web.
We have seen the willingness of young men and juveniles with limited criminal history being recruited to commit these offences. We're now seeing young women that are being recruited.
The 23-year-old was allegedly behind an attempted hit, accused of conspiring to murder a high-profile organised crime figure, believed to be Alameddine-linked rapper Ali Ihuncho Yunus. She allegedly helped orchestrate the failed murder plot, supplying 3 men with weapons and staging so-called kill cars.
On the afternoon of 11th of April 2026, males in a white Audi were seen acting suspicious in Wentworthville Leagues Club, and they were pursued by police. The potential outcome could have been fatalities at, that Wentworthville Leagues Club would have been horrific if that occurred.
Hansel is not the only woman accused of underworld crime this week.
Yeah, it is unusual.
This 18-year-old girl was charged over what police say was a highly coordinated surveillance operation on a man linked to underworld shootings. A 16-year-old boy has also been taken into custody.
So it has changed the landscape, and it is concerning that they are young men and women committing these acts.
But as for why young women are increasingly getting involved, police say it's the attraction of fast money, but it comes with a warning of retaliation.
Because it will happen if they're not arrested and thrown in the jail for a very long time.
And with these latest arrests, police hope the latter will ring true. Zoe Martin, 10 News.
A scuffle has broken out outside the emergency department at St George Hospital, with more than a dozen people trying to stop a fight from spilling over. Tensions boiled over yesterday, with police believing that it was the result of a family dispute following a relative's death. No arrests have been made. Our state's prison population is tonight at record highs, fuelled by a surge in domestic violence charges. I want to bring in a reporter now, Matt Cannella. Matt, it's been described as an extraordinarily sharp rise. What's behind it?
Absolutely, Sandra. The prison population has grown more in the past 4 months than in the past 4 years. Right now, there are more than 14,000 adults in our state's jails. That's up about 8% or more than 1,000 people between November last year and March this year. Aboriginal adults now make up nearly 35% of the prison population. That is the highest number and proportion on record. While 6,650 inmates, or nearly half, are awaiting trial or sentencing. That marks a significant shift in the makeup of inmates and could be put down to stricter bail laws. They were introduced in 2024 and are designed to keep accused domestic violence offenders in custody. Tonight, 28% of the prison population is behind bars for DV offences. That is up 13%.
The justice system is one very nuanced piece of a very complex puzzle when it comes to domestic and family violence interventions. What we would like to see is more meaningful investment in the areas of primary prevention and early intervention.
There was a 17% increase in domestic violence charges in the 4 months to March this year. Sandra, authorities say the higher remand numbers are down to an increase in enforcement and not an increase in crime.
All right, thank you, Matt. Donald Trump has gone to China hoping for some help in the war against Iran. Instead, though, he's received a stark warning. America risks a new war if it interferes with China's ambitions to seize the island of Taiwan. The world's two most powerful men have begun 2 days of meetings. Our National Affairs editor Hugh Riminton has more.
The Chinese do pageantry like any great power. Donald Trump given the full deal in Tiananmen Square in front of the Communist Party seat of power, the Great Hall of the People.
I think I was particularly impressed by those children. They were happy. They were beautiful. Those children were amazing, and they represent so much. And I know they represent so much to you.
In the formal opening, Xi Jinping urged the American to be a partner, not a rival, saying the world is at a crossroads. He urged President Trump to work with him in avoiding the tendency for established powers to go to war with emerging ones.
Such respect for China, the job you've done.
Donald Trump's public response was all politeness.
You're a great leader. I say it to everybody. You're a great leader. Sometimes people don't like me saying it, but I say it anyway.
China buys 80% of Iran's oil. It could do more to squeeze the Iranians towards a deal with America to end the war.
But China has ambitions of its own, not least the seizure, or as it sees it, the reunification with democratic Taiwan. Chinese state media says President Xi warned Donald Trump that the world will be in a very dangerous place if the US doesn't handle well China's plans for the island.
Trump is also here for business. His son Eric, co-head of the president's family business empire, joined Elon Musk, Apple's Tim Cook and the AI software billionaire Jason Huang to meet the Chinese leader.
We have the greatest businessmen, the biggest and I guess the best in the world.
President Trump then got a tour of the Temple of Heaven.
Incredible. China's beautiful.
He said his first round of talks was great, but didn't reveal what was discussed. They'll meet again tonight after a state banquet. Hugh Riminton, 10 News.
We have some new details tonight about the repatriation flight for Australian passengers who were caught on board a cruise ship infected with the deadly hantavirus. Grace Barlow is live from Bullsbrook, which is north of Perth. G'day, Grace. Now, their flight is just about to take off.
That's right, Sandra. 5 Australians and 1 New Zealand citizen are right now on board a plane organised by the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Their flight is due to depart the Netherlands in about 20 minutes' time. They've been at hotel quarantine there and their flight is bound for this facility in Perth's northern suburbs. They were evacuated from cruise ship MV Hondius, where hantavirus, a severe respiratory illness spread by contact with rodent droppings, has so far spread to 11 passengers, while 3 have died. The Australian and New Zealanders caught up in this international health scare will be required to quarantine here at the National Resilience Centre, built during the COVID pandemic, for up to 42 days. That will be reassessed within the first 3 weeks. Expert staff flown in from Darwin will manage the group under strict guidelines, but we're being assured the disease is rarely transmitted human to human and requires close contact. The group have tested negative for the virus and are displaying no symptoms. They're said to be in good health, but they, including staff, will don full PPE on board the flight to ensure there is no risk of transmission. They'll also be tested upon their arrival. There has been some action at the facility today. Contractors seen arriving with last-minute checks being carried out. The Health Minister today assuring Australians there is nothing to be worried about. Take a listen.
There are very strict conditions about the flight, about the landing and about the quarantine arrangements at Bullsbrook, which have been developed by our Centre for Disease Control. Australians can have very high confidence that we are doing everything to ensure that this repatriation of those 6 passengers is undertaken completely safely.
The flight is set to arrive sometime tomorrow at the RAF PSS airbase, just a short drive from here. No doubt those passengers on board will be very keen to get home. Sandra.
Indeed. Grace Barlow there. Thank you. Let's get to sport. Tara Rushton is here with a quick preview. And the good news, Tara, many are rejoicing. Latrell Mitchell is fit.
He is, that's right, Sandra. A little bit of magic for the Rabbitohs ahead of Magic Round. Cleared to play. He's ready to unleash against the Dolphins tomorrow night. But what's the one thing he won't be doing? High stakes and even higher intensity as the Socceroos audition for their World Cup spot. We have the latest from Florida. And the Giro d'Italia delivered a lesson in never giving up, crashing and careering off course. Just a few minor obstacles. We'll tell you how it all played out a little later in sport.
Terrific. We'll see you then. Thanks, Tara. Stay with us. Still to come here on 10 News. Just 3 minutes. The shockingly small amount of time it took for police to confront, then taser, a 95-year-old grandmother. A trail of terror. A man faces court accused of going on a carjacking spree. First the pomp, then the ceremony, now the treason. Is Sir Keir Starmer about to be challenged for the UK's top job? And Hogwarts come to Homebush. Your behind-the-scenes look at a new Harry Potter exhibit.